Good afternoon, and welcome to today's San Jose State football press conference. We are taping here on Monday, November the 12th. For those of you who are watching today, hopefully you're enjoying your Veterans Day celebration. It's time for our weekly press conference here with Mike McIntyre. A few items. First of all, Saturday, November the 17th, it'll be a 7:30 game, San Jose State and BYU. BYU's first appearance in Spartan Stadium since 1968. Have some individual player announcements. Benet Benwickery, for the second time this season, is the WAC Defensive Player of the Week. Scored a touchdown again, this time on a fumble recovery at New Mexico State. Also, tight end Ryan Otten is one of 8 semifinalists for the John Mackey Award, recognizing the top tight end in the country. So congratulations to Ryan. The Mike McIntyre radio show will tape this Wednesday night at the Original Joe's beginning at 6 o'clock. You're all welcome to come and attend and see the show. And then one last item regarding Saturday's game. Again, for those of you who are holding tickets that say 1 p.m., those tickets are good. You do not need to exchange them for a new ticket. ESPN2 is covering Saturday's football game. And with that, we will bring in head coach Mike McIntyre.
Talk a little bit about the New Mexico State game. Our young men came out and played really hard at the beginning. We had a few big plays that kind of put New Mexico State on their heels, and our guys just kept playing hard. And then we came out of the chute fast and furious in the second half and went, I think, 75 yards in 2 plays. And then we were able to play our whole football team, which was a lot of fun for those young men and getting some guys some more experience, because you're definitely going to need it down the road as you have different injuries. I was really pleased with how hard we played, and it was a fun day for us. So we're getting ready to play BYU, a very good football team that beat us last year at their place. We're excited about it being on ESPN2. It's a big football game. I would say with BYU coming to town and everything, it's one of the biggest games in, I'd say, modern history of San Jose State football. And it's a big deal that we're excited about. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Navy coming in last year about this same time of the year. And, BYU is bowl eligible like we are. I think they're going to the Poinsettia Bowl. And so we're excited about playing. They got a really good quarterback in Riley Nelson, who's been beat up a little bit, but he's a very good playmaker. Their defense is phenomenal. They're big, they're strong, they're athletic. They do a lot of great things. And it's going to be a very, very tough contest for us. And I know our kids are excited about playing in front of a packed house here at Spartan Stadium, and we love all of our people to be here and be here in full force, and we expect our whole student body to be out there loud and cheering. So it's going to be an exciting night here this weekend. I'll take any questions at this time.
Yeah, I mean, this not being a conference game, it doesn't affect the WAC title hopes, but like you said, this seems like a big game. What makes it a big game? Do you feel like this is a chance to kind of make a statement against a team that has a national profile?
I think it makes it a big game, that it's a meaningful game at the end of November, especially for our program. Yes, they are a national big name coming here to town, and they haven't played here since 1968, and I think that's a big deal for us and for them coming and playing in the Bay Area. So we're pumped about that, and they're bowl eligible. We're bowl eligible, so it's 2 very, very good football teams playing each other on a Saturday night on national television, and that's for a college kid and for a college head football coach, it doesn't really get much better than that at the end of a meaningful game in November.
Yeah, by the time that game kicks off, you'll probably have a good idea of whether or not you guys still have a shot at the WAC title. Now, what are your thoughts on that Louisiana Tech Utah State game? And does it kind of feel helpless that you don't really by the end of this week you'll probably know if you have a shot at the WAC title, but you don't really have a say in it?
Right, exactly. We'll watch with anticipation, and You know what? We want both teams to play well, but of course, with our choice right now, we would like Louisiana Tech to win. So that gives us a chance to beat Louisiana Tech the last weekend and have a three-way tie for the conference championship. So we're looking at it that way, and we'll see what happens. But we'll be thinking about it, but we'll have our minds set on the BYU game for sure.
In the New Mexico State game, the pass defense stepped up, played really well. Why do you think that is, and what do you think it's going to take to carry that over to BYU? I know you said they got a pretty good quarterback who's a good playmaker, so what's it going to take to stop him?
Right. Well, we've had a pretty good passing defense all year. I think we're ranked the 21st defense in America. We're the 25th scoring defense in America. We're ranked the number 1 in the WAC in pass defense and pass defense efficiency. Number 1 is we get a good pass rush. If you can make a quarterback uncomfortable, he's usually not as accurate. That helps us. And then in the secondary, we did a few different things. They had a great receiver, number 4. Austin Franklin was, I think, averaging 126 yards a game and a touchdown a game. We held him to, I think, 12 yards. And we rolled to him, and we kind of rerouted him, got our hands on him, kind of got him off rhythm. And the pass rush, along with doing that, is what helped us in the game.
Also in the game, the rushing offense racked up over 200 yards. The rush attack's kind of been on and off this year. So what do you think it's going to take to keep that momentum from last week and use it against BYU?
Well, we'll have to be a little bit different against BYU. They're, I think, the 4th best defense in America. They're huge up front. And so, we'll have to be able to run the ball a little bit differently than we did last week. But we'll find ways to do it. And anytime you can complement it, and you can run the ball and run the ball for over 200 yards and throw it for over 300, that's a good day. And it puts a lot of balance. We'll definitely try to run the football, but with their stout run defense, and they've got some huge men up front, it'll be a little bit different running attack for us to be able to attack them and on that front. But against New Mexico State, there were some things we felt like we could do, and they worked out well for us Saturday.
Now, how do you compare this BYU defense to the other top defense you played, the guys like Stanford and Utah State?
I would say they're extremely similar to Stanford. They're big, strong, and play some zone coverage type things like Stanford does. Utah State was more of a man bracket type coverage on defense, and their nose guard was really, really good in that game, number 90. So I would say they're all similar, but I would say they're closer to a Stanford to me in what they do a little bit.
And then what's their pass rush like? Because obviously you had that bad experience against Utah State, but since then you haven't allowed a sack.
Hadn't allowed a sack, and really didn't have a lot of sacks before that night. It was just one of those type of things where one of the things is we got so far behind there early that we had to throw to catch up, and we were starting to catch up. So defensively we've got to play real well in the game to make sure we don't have to get in a situation where they know we're having to throw the ball downfield. And then we've got to be able to protect and keep that simple. They'll steal some ideas from Utah State, and they'll steal some because every team has. Since we played them, Idaho tried it, UTSA tried it, Texas State tried it, and a lot of the same things that Utah State had done, and we picked it up pretty well.
For the first time, I think, since 1987, San Jose State received votes in the coaches poll. What does that mean to you personally, and what do you think it means for the program going forward?
Well, I think anytime we get recognition nationally in the different polls, it's great for our kids. I think it's great for the program. It gets our name out there, helps us in recruiting, makes the people proud that are part of the program. So I think it's a big pride factor and something that our young men and coaches have worked hard, and they've earned some of that recognition. And if we keep winning, we'll keep getting more recognition.
With all the excitement going on this season, playing really well, being bowl eligible, how do you keep the guys not only focused on the field, but also how do you keep them focused in the classroom? What do you kind of do to remind them to?
There's a lot of things we do for the classroom. Number one, we practice in the morning, so we get them up early and get them going, and feed them a good lunch and send them off to class. And we class check every day. Make sure they're in class. I know all college students go to class. They don't sleep in some. But we make sure our kids are there. If they're not, then we have a thing called rolling, and we kind of roll them a little bit. We run them a little bit extra to remind them to go to class. So it's a situation that they make sure they do, and our kids do a good job of that. They're not always perfect, but I'd say they're close to perfect, and so they do a good job of taking care of business there, because that's why they're here. They're here to go to school. They're here to learn. They're here to mature. They're here to grow as people, and I think that's one of the greatest places to do that is in the classroom.
BYU's already had 4 games where they haven't allowed a touchdown. You know, shut down teams like Boise and Georgia Tech, Washington State. You know, is there something you guys have to do to maybe mentally prepare for if you get into a situation where you're struggling, and so you aren't taken aback because this offense has been so electric that they're not used to that?
Right. Well, I hope not. I hope not. We know they're good. Our kids know they're good. They can see it on film. We just need to execute well and move the ball well, and hopefully they haven't really seen an offense that's like ours. Hopefully we're closer to what Oregon State or one of those teams did to them. But you're exactly right. They are very good. They're very tough. They're very physical. We've got to hold on to the ball because they tackle well. They swarm the ball well. And the other thing is they're big men. I mean, they're big men. So when they hit you, they hit you. And that's make sure that we understand that and then just match them toe-to-toe and hopefully that we'll be able to move the ball and do a good job. David has moved the ball well most of the time all year, so hopefully he'll be able to give him some protection, and we'll be able to run the football to help give us balance, and we'll see what happens Saturday.
This is probably a nice problem to have, but you've been involved in a lot of blowouts lately. Is there any concern about going into a game where you really expect this one to be a 4-quarter game and learning to have those guys play out that 4th quarter?
Right. I think we've been in a lot of close battles with these young men, and so I'd rather have you asking that question than why are y'all in so many close games all the time? We used to have that question about 8 weeks ago. So I think that they understand it's going to be a 60-minute game. And here's the good thing about our kids. They understand every game is going to be a 60-minute game. But they've learned to kind of understand. I think that's one of the things that's helped us kind of put people away is they do know it's a 60-minute game. It's not just over because you got it by 20. You better keep going until you get it by 40, and then, okay, now you're okay. And so I think that they've learned that, and it'll be down the wire. I think it's going to be a great college football game. I'm really excited about it, and we need all the San Jose State Spartans to come support this team. They haven't seen a team like this in 27 years around here, and we would love for them to be out there, and our kids want them out there. And I can't tell you what a big deal it is when I look at them in that ramp before they come running out, and they see people all over the place. It means a lot, and hopefully that's what happened this Saturday night at 7:30 on national television.
Ryan Otten was named Mackey Award semifinalist. What do you think that says about what he's done here at San Jose State and how far he's come as a player?
First of all, Ryan Otten is an exceptional student, exceptional young man who will graduate this spring. Graduate this January. He'll graduate in December. He is a great athlete, a big body that can find the ball any way he can. I was talking about this morning. I haven't ever been around one in college as good as him ever. And the ability to catch the football and run and do all the things that he can do. And he's also a captain on our football team. He's a phenomenal leader. And I think it just speaks high volumes of how far he's come. Because when he came here as a little skinny guy, and he kept working and he kept working. And I remember playing him as a redshirt sophomore, and I think the year before he caught maybe 1 pass, and now he's caught about 50 every year. And he's really come a long way. And he's played through injuries, and he's pushed himself. He's a great leader for our team, and he deserves all the accolades he gets.
With all the success the program is having this year, how do you think that will affect school support and recruiting going forward in the next few years?
Well, I hope it affects it tremendously. We've got our recruiting classes have been good. We feel like recruiting's going well now. And then as far as the school goes, we feel like we've had more and more students at the game. We would like to keep having more and more people come to the game, and so I think that all builds on itself, and you just need to keep putting that on top of win on top of win. We've won 4 in a row. We'd like to have 5 in a row. And then we'd like to have 6 in a row. Then we'd like to have 7 in a row. So we're in the process of doing that, and our kids believe it can be done. And it's fun to watch it happen. And it's fun to see all the success for those young men. And, you can see it in their eyes. And you can see how far they've come. I think that's the key, how far they've come to what they've done, because nobody but them believe they could do it. And when you do something that nobody believes you can do, it's a pretty good feeling. It really is a really good feeling. And that is going to help them along life, because there's going to be a lot of tough times in life when people are going to think they can't do certain things in business or different hardships they run into. And they're going to be able to revert back to remember to persevere, to keep fighting, to keep their head up, and things will work out well if they keep doing that.
Because the nature of the school at BYU, they have a lot of mature players, older players. I think Riley's, like 24. Yeah, how does that help them, and how, what does that do for their football team?
Well, remember when you were 18? Remember when you were 24? The maturity factor is so much bigger. They're and they've played. They're older. They've been through more experiences. A lot of them play for 2 years and then leave for 2 years and come back and then redshirt and still have 2 years to play. So they've got tremendous amount of experience, a lot of maturity. So I think that gives them a very big advantage. And so that's something that we have to be ready for, to understand we're playing more mature men. And I think our guys saw that last year and are ready for that challenge. And so it'd be an exciting night. I think their average age, I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 or 5 years older than our average age. But that's the way it is with everybody they play. So that's an advantage for them, but maybe they get a little tired quicker. I don't know. We'll see. So it'll be a good contest.
And then, when you look at Nelson, I mean, he's 6 foot, a little bit smaller of a guy. I mean, is that something you got to try to get in the lanes and hope that you can bat down some passes?
I tell you what, he's just a playmaker. I mean, that's what he is. He's a good quarterback, but he makes plays. When the pocket breaks down, or he'll create, or he'll run around and flip the ball, late to a guy, and he'll make a play. And I think they feed off of his competitive nature. I really like watching him play. I really enjoy watching him play. I hope I don't enjoy watching him play this Saturday. But he's a spark plug for him. And, he's not the traditional BYU quarterback the way I would see it. But he's a winner. He's a competitor. He's a playmaker. He's a really good football player.
And then what about their running back? I mean, he's the one young guy, 17 years old, true freshman. What do you think about him?
I guess he doesn't have anybody to go out with. He's so young. But he is a really good football player from Summit High School here and down near the Inland Empire near L.A. Very fast, very quick. They throw a lot of screens to him, run a lot of speed option to him, run shovel passes to him. He's making a lot of plays. We have to know where 21 is because he's a big playmaker for him in the open field. He really is.
You mentioned that BYU's defensive front is really big up front.
Yes.
And with the Spartans being such a high-octane offense, what do you think it's going to take for your offensive line up front to contain those guys and keep Fales upright?
Well, I think number one, we got to execute correctly, know exactly what we're doing in the football game. Because if you get on edges with big guys, they just run through your shoulders and they're on fail. So we got to be firm in that area. The other thing is we've got to keep them off balance and get them running, get them doing different things so those big guys get tired. And they substitute them in and out also. But I think we just need to do what we do and not really worry about what they do and execute the best we can. And I think that gives us the best chance to be successful.
With so many high-scoring games this season and with BYU having a tough defense, there hasn't really been too many grinded-out type of games. Are you concerned about that going and playing them because since it might turn into a defensive struggle, or how are you getting your guys prepared in that regard?
Well, we played Navy. That was kind of a defensive struggle. It was 12-0 when we beat them. And, I think the Stanford game was kind of a defensive struggle. It was 20-17. They scored 3 points in the second half on us. So I think we're a good second-half team. I think we're starting fast also. I think we're in great condition. I think that gives us a big advantage. It has in every game we've played. We've outscored everybody in the second half. So I think it's something that we need to keep going and working with. And I think our kids believe in their ability to fight to the final whistle and be able to keep playing hard. And we're going to need every 60 minutes and maybe even more to win this football game. All right, thank you very much.
Another reminder that this Saturday's game with BYU is at 7:30 p.m. in Spartan Stadium. Also, Mike McIntyre radio show will tape Wednesday night at 6 p.m. at Original Joe's. You're more than welcome to come, and certainly there are tickets available for Saturday night's game with BYU. You can purchase your tickets either online at www.sjsuspartans.com, visit your Ticketmaster outlet, or you can come in person to the Spartan Athletics ticket office at the corner of 7th and Alma. That's it for today. We'll be back again on Monday, November the 19th. Thank you.